Yo, what up, guys? Travic here, and today I want to talk about one of my favorite games that I've been playing on and off for years. Now, if you're new here, if you've seen my content before, you know that I'm in absolute love with Path of Exile. It is one of my favorite games of all time, and I play it pretty much religiously. But alongside Path of Exile, in my spare time, on and off throughout the years, I have always loved playing Diablo 2. More importantly, not just regular Diablo 2, but I've had an absolute positive love for Diablo 2 mods. I've played all different kinds of D2 mods, from Path of Diablo to Median to now I'm going to try D2 Remaster Imagined, and currently I'm playing Project Diablo 2. Project Diablo 2 is a mod that came out many moons ago. It brought all kinds of interesting features and quality of life, and when Season 1, Season 2 rolled around, I was a little on the fence. I was very big in the Path of Diablo. I played other mods. I wasn't, I didn't really know. It was new on the block, and, I gave it a shot, and I thought it was really good. Now, if I thought it was good years ago and the dev team kept working on it, and well, to my surprise, it is still absolutely amazing. What was good back then is even better now. So, over this past weekend when Season 10, I think it's 10, rolled out, I was like, hey guys, Path of Exile is a little slow right now. We're waiting for PoE 2. Project Diablo's got a new season. I'm going to be playing it. It's something I do off stream. Can I share it with you guys? And my Twitch chat and YouTube chat was like, let's see what you're playing. This sounds awesome. Play it. So over the last couple of days, I've been playing Project Diablo 2, and I've gotten a billion questions about it. So today I was like, let me make a video. Let's talk about Project Diablo 2, what it is, how you play, what's going on, where you get it, and let's kind of dive into it a little bit, and maybe it'll be something you guys want to try. But Project Diablo 2, just like regular Diablo 2, is a mod and add-on for regular Diablo 2 Lords of Destruction. So this mod will not work for Diablo 2 Remaster. You do indeed need to get a regular copy of Diablo 2. So I have a link for you. I will put in the description down below. This is a mod specifically for classic-based Diablo 2 and Diablo 2 Lords of Destruction. So if you have old CD keys and you want to play, you need to be digging them out. Though I'm going to say this because I'm sure we all did a bunch of, we've all played Diablo 2 back in the day, and we've either lost our keys or misplaced our keys. If you buy keys from a sketchy site and you do not know if they are banned or not, and you use banned keys, note you might indeed get banned because you are required to use a legitimate copy of Diablo 2. Now, once you go out to, say Blizzard's website, or you find your old CD keys and you install the game and you put it on, you can access Diablo 2 from the Project Diablo 2 from the Project Diablo 2 website, and you can download it, install it. It's got an absolutely simple launcher. You click play, it updates, it turns the game on, and you play it right away. Now, as you can see here, my screen is actually full screen compared to original Diablo 2 back in the day. If I pull up old school Diablo 2, or I put a little video up here and let it play for a second, you'll see right away that the graphics comparison between this Diablo 2 and what's playing for you right now is drastically different. The team has done a fantastic job of adding all kinds of shaders and modifiers to the game to make it look a little bit better. Now, granted, it's not the remaster graphics or filter that you have on Diablo 2 Remaster, but me personally, I'm not a huge fan of Diablo 2 Remaster's graphics. I really prefer the old style look. It really reminds me a lot of my childhood, and even outside of just the nostalgia feeling, it just looks and has this really good old school grainy ARPG feel, and killing mobs feels more impactful. Going through the story feels a little bit more impactful. For me, the older look really sets the tone and really sets the pacing. On top of that, the music is really good. Diablo 2 just has really good music, but I mean, that has nothing to do with the filters. But anyways, the atmosphere is set. The atmosphere is moving. It is cruising. It is feeling really good. Now, some things to note about Diablo 2, Project Diablo 2, you have access to all kinds of different classes. If we were to leave this game really quick, you could see we have access to the original Amazon, the Assassin, the Necromancer, the Barbarian, the Paladin, the Sorceress, and the Druid. And you can see all of the text on the screen is really nice. It's crisp. It's updated. It's meant to look good. And all the old characters are here in all of their glory. I'm currently in Season 10 playing a Paladin, so all of this video will be showcased on a Paladin. If you want to know more about my character, or you want to know more about what I'm playing because it looks really cool, please don't hesitate to leave a like, a comment, do all that fun jazz down below. Now, something else to point out really quick. Something they've done in this mod that's really cool is you can indeed play this online. You can play this with your friends. You can create a game on Battle.net. You can have all different people playing. You can see what your friends are up to. You have an entire friends list of people that are playing. You have a ladder. I think this ladder works on here, or it at least works on the website. There is a ladder that people are pushing. You can check out the progression of characters that are pushing, and it's really up to date in keeping like the whole community feeling. There's an extremely active Discord. There's an entire active trade community, and we'll get all into that. But when I go to make my game, you can see there's all different game servers I can choose from. I can actually even allocate loot so that if I want to play with my friends or play with Joe Schmo random in a bail game, I can have loot allocated to me. And that's not something you can do in regular Diablo 2. So small things about the multiplayer that are just really cool. But hopping into the game, you see right away my character is popped right into Act 4. I could set a home act in this game, and I could choose which of the acts or major towns I want my character to spawn into. So small quality of life. So if I, do a lot of Tristram runs, I can just spawn in Act 4 every single game without having to worry. Now, other things to really note that are really cool is if I press I and open my inventory is absolutely massive compared to the original Diablo 2. The original Diablo 2 started here and only went up here. We had a 4 by, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We had a 4 by 10 inventory, and in Project Diablo 2, we have an 8 by 10. Right? Is this 8? 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, it's 8 by 10. This inventory is absolutely massive. It is a absolute positive lifesaver. And one of the coolest things about the inventory to point out is the bottom half of my inventory is a charm inventory. Now you'll notice right away, if I move my charms to the top of my inventory, they are redded out. They are no longer usable. They do not work. I need to put them in the bottom half of my inventory. Diablo 2 is really, really, really big on charms, and they are something that your character really needs, but it was always something that really took up your inventory. So Project Diablo 2 does an absolutely fantastic job of cleaning up your inventory and allowing you the space to work with your character and be able to still pick up loot. Now my inventory is a little bit crazy. I have a bunch of charms, I have a bunch of gems that I've been picking up, some stuff, but I mean, it suits my needs. It gives me a ton of extra space to loot, and my Erodric cube is a little bit extended for more extra loot around the game. Something else that's really cool with our character is if we press C, we have our normal character sheet. You could see my character, you could see my stats, you could see everything that's going on. I need to fix my resistances, and it gives you a really nice breakdown just like Diablo 2 did. But if you're looking for something a little bit more, Project Diablo 2 allows you to press the number 8 key on your keyboard and see very intricate stats. Now, if I tab out for a second and hide my face, and I can show you just more interesting stats. If I'm really interested in like min-maxing my character, I could take it to the next level in Diablo 2, or more specifically Project Diablo 2, and really get a fine breakdown of where my character stats lies and how things are going. I don't have to open my inventory and look at all of my pieces of gear anymore and be like, oh my God, I have 65 magic find on my helmet. I'm going to write this down, and then go through my charms on my inventory, look for the rest of the magic find, see where magic find lies, and start writing everything down. So this does a really good job of breaking down everything for us. This also gives me my faster cast rate breakpoints, my faster hit recovery breakpoints, my increased attack speed breakpoints, and I can really get a good look of how my character's progressing and make different kinds of breakpoints. If you're like me and you like to usually start with a sorceress and you want to farm some Mephisto or farm some cows, you'll know from back in the day of playing, you need faster cast rate, and that's a little bit of a pain to track, and this does it all for you. Outside of that, I have a mercenary. My mercenary follows me along, and if you've ever played original Diablo 2 or this is your first time here, this is my mercenary. My mercenary can have an absolute full set of gear. I can gear him just as strong as my character. He will follow me around. He will provide me with auras and buffs, and he too will kick out, he'll just kick the butts of demons all throughout this game and take care of everything for us. Now, something that's really cool that I only just learned about yesterday is if I press 8 again on my mercenary tab, you can see this changes to my mercenary. So I can actually track the stats of my mercenary and get his frames high enough to attack, fast enough to kick ass even faster. And honestly, that's pretty cool. So, so small things that really start to tie this game together. Now I can track my stats, I can track my mercenary stats, I can really juice up my mercenary. I have even more inventory space. And you're saying, whoa, one of the coolest things is I get to go do all these cow runs and I get to go farm Mephisto and there's all kinds of loot and I don't know anymore what kind of loot is good or not. Well, let's talk loot. Project Diablo 2 offers you the ability to set up an absolutely beautiful loot filter. So in game, you can see I have access to a loot filter. I can change the level of my loot filter just like I could in Path of Exile. And the launcher of Project Diablo 2 allows me to pick and choose a different loot filter. Each of these loot filters have an author's page. I can go and preview the filter live right away and see just how it works. And I can set up an absolute fantastic loot filter or use a loot filter that was made by the community and really make sure that while I'm farming, I can find my loot wherever and however I want. Now, one of the coolest things is if I'm farming and things are getting crazy and I'm slaughtering a million, billion, trillion, quadrillion cows and a unique ring falls and I don't see it because there's all this loot, my loot filter up here will say, hey, 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 pick up that ring, grab that ring. And I will be able to pick up a ring. Now, I originally was like playing a little bit earlier today and I found this ring and I was like, this will be perfect to like save and show you guys. Same thing with runes. If I were to find a good rune, runes are really, really, really noticeable. Unfortunately, I don't have a bigger rune to show you and drop something crazy, but you can see right away all kinds of different loot has, you know, notifications on them and makes it really, really, really easy to stand out so that you'll never miss your loot. To just kind of showcase it a little bit more, let's just go kill a mob really quick and just kind of see. You can see right away, I come over here, I grab and I kill all these mobs, and right there, nothing major on the top of my screen, but I can see my loot. It does stick out. It's really easy to notice. And if I go to someplace a little bit more crazy, someplace a little bit more hectic, let's fingers crossed that we don't die here while doing this little showcase because my character's a little weak, and I go and I kill the council. You can see, oh, perfect diamonds dropping. I get a little notification for that. I can come up here, I can kill these guys, nothing else. You saw the gold auto picks up, and I got the notification for a perfect diamond. All of my loot is sticking out quite nicely. And you can see if I go into my loot filter and I just, you know, lower the loot filter a little bit, you can see all the extra stuff. Well, I guess there wasn't that many extra stuff that was hiding all around. So let's put up our loot filter back to where it was. Let's go back to town and let's showcase a couple other things. So we see that we have all kinds of loot. We see that our loot filter is really active. And you say, well, if I'm finding all this loot, where am I putting it all? Where am I storing it all? Well, Project Diablo 2 allows you the ability to store all of your loot in 4,672 different stash tabs that you do not need to pay for. They are just included in the base copy of the game. Thank you, Senpai, for not making me buy 4 million stash tabs. Thanks for adding a lot of loot, unlike some other games that you only have like 3 stash tabs with no loot. You know who you are. But our loot is very available to us. Our storage space is pretty massive, and you can see my inventory a little bit of a mess, and I have plenty of room to store all of my stuff. I actually have 9 tabs that are stored and shared amongst all of my characters. If I were to make a new character, all of this loot would show up in each of my characters, and this is a personal page solely for this character. So I can actually like take a bunch of loot, throw it in tab 10, create a mule, pull it out of tab 10, put it in here, and actually mule it away without having the need to do the juggling from back in the day of creating a game, dropping loot, making a new game, dropping loot, picking it up, praying to God your game disconnected, hoping your friend didn't leave, and all of your loot is pretty much there all the time for you at every given moment. So, you know, big, huge quality of life, nice little win. Something else to point out too about Project Diablo 2 that I really like is a lot of the skills have been updated. A lot of the skills have changed. You saw right away, my paladin wasn't a hammer paladin. So if you know anything about Diablo 2, or if you've played, you know, like I did 20 years ago, you would know Blessed Hammers was one of the coolest things that you can do. Your character would essentially take a hammer, throw it, it would circle around you, it would spiral out. Your character would, you know, then use an enigma and start teleporting all around and killing a bunch of mobs. Well, in Project Diablo 2, other skills are really viable. So you can play a lot of different skills and you can go through the campaign relatively easily up until Hell. And then Hell, you have to do a little bit of thinking, fix your gear, you know, fix your resistances. And then, you know, you struggle through Hell and then you can start farming the end game. In this, skills are a little bit different. Skills are kind of changed and you can use different skills to do different things. My character currently is playing a charge paladin. I essentially just do exactly that. I charge into battle, and when I hit a mob, I hit the whole screen. My weapon has splash damage on it. My weapon will hit multiple mobs because of the splash, and charge will hit and splash its damage up until a radius of 60%. So essentially what that means is in Project Diablo 2, if I'm playing and I'm running around and I hit one mob, I can kill it with charge, no problem. My charge does an absurd amount of damage. And if there is a pack of monsters and I charge, I can kill the whole pack of monsters, you know, if I hit them and the splash radius is big enough. Same thing here with our good friend Rocket Ishu. You know, I could just hit him and just explode him and kill a bunch of mobs. I can come into Tristram just like back in the day. I can kill a whole pack of mobs. You can see the damage is splashing. It's hitting all the enemies. As long as they're within range, I can hit all the enemies and blow them all up quite nicely. You can even see our loot filter is, you know, picking up and showing us really cool things. Now, a lot of the skills have been reworked. A lot of the skills are completely different. And a really cool example for all the Path of Exile players is Sacrifice actually has Detonate Dead on it. So if I kill a mob with Sacrifice, you can see the mob is exploding. So that's like, you know, there's some really cool hidden gems in this game, like absolutely really cool hidden gems. Like the ability to have slain monsters explode, like that is really cool. Another really interesting one is Holy Bolt. Back in the day, Holy Bolt was a skill that paladins used to heal their teammates and only deal damage to undead mobs. Now in Project Diablo 2, Holy Bolt is like this like absolute reign of terror that just like murders and blows up everything and shoots everything and fires balls of lightning, and it's just the most terrifying thing. It's a Holy Bolt paladin running down the road, just pop, 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 and everybody's exploding. It's really cool. So, you know, you have lots and lots of options. All of the different characters have all kinds of different skill trees. They have all different skills. I know I'm planning on making a whirlwind assassin that just whirlwinds around the map and just blows up things. Now, if you're saying to me, great, I have to go play Project Diablo 2 and then I gotta go farm me an Enigma. What a pain in the butt. I don't want to go farm an Enigma. We'll talk about runes in a second. Each single class has something really cool. My paladin, for example, has this cool move called Joust, not in the base game. Joust allows me to teleport. What that means is if I go, say, to the Cold Plains and I start looking for enemies, I can just right-click my skill and joust away to the enemies. And it can do what you think it does. I just teleport into the enemies. Now, currently the cooldown on my Joust is not very good. I have not finished leveling Joust, but you can actually start reducing the cooldown of your teleport skills so that it is actually viable in combat, and you can teleport pack to pack. You don't have to wait for a crazy cooldown, and a lot of the classes have teleports. Something really interesting. So yeah, you could play pretty much any class and just like teleport to enemies. I think Necromancer has like Blood Warp, and Sork has teleport, and Barb has Leap, Paladin has Joust. I don't remember what the other characters have, but they all have some sort of form of travel or movement skill that helps you move around, and it just makes the quality of life easier. Now, I had mentioned that I can use Enigma to teleport around, and that is a rune word, and runes are something exclusive to Diablo 2, now in Diablo 4, and they're not really something known in a lot of games, so we'll touch on runes. Runes are these unique and interesting, cool items. You could see them down here in my inventory, and they provide something very basic. If I hover over this rune, it says it gives me 10 vitality. If I hover over this rune, it says it gives me mana on kill. Each rune does something very specific and very different. Now, runes are used in crafting, and I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head without having to go to a website. And you use, okay, I think I know what it is. You use runes in your gear in a specific order to make something cool. So what I mean by that, and let's hope I don't mess this up, because I'm sure there's some D2 vets watching this right now laughing a little bit at me struggling trying to remember while they remember the runes in the right order off the top of their head. Now, I have a 4-socket weapon, I have some runes, and this is essentially what it does. This rune gives me 30% fire res in armor and fire damage in a weapon. So this weapon, I will put this rune in, I will go Row. My weapon now has fire damage. I will go Tear, and I will get mana after each kill. My weapon now has fire damage and mana after each kill. I will go Row, Tear. I will go Tolerune, and my weapon will now have poison damage. I will now go Solaroon, and my weapon will have minimum damage. Wait, hold on. My weapon has now turned into a new monstrosity of a weapon. Something really cool in Diablo 2 that makes crafting really interesting. My weapon is now an absolute monster. It does a bunch of different things. It has cast rate on it. None of those runes had cast rate. It has a meditation aura. None of those runes had meditation. It now has critical strike chance. None of those runes had critical strike chance. And it's this completely crazy world of crafting where you can use a wide variety of the different runes and make all kinds of different items and different effects in different weapons. And the item that I talked about earlier was called Enigma, which is something that a lot of old people that played Diablo 2, a lot of older generation that played Diablo 2 would know right away, that gave you the ability to just have teleport. And this has blink. They're a little bit different, but essentially do the same thing. And that's essentially like why characters have teleports. But anyways, I'm getting all excited and ahead of myself because I'm really excited about runes, and I'm thinking about rune crafting, and I want to go play more, and I want to go farm more runes, and farming more runes feels really good. And there's all kinds of endorphins that come out when you're farming runes. But there's this website, it lets you play around with all the different runes and check out all the different calculators. And I'm going to update this and include this, guys, for you in the description. And there's just so much that Project Diablo has to offer. And as I'm like recording this and I'm realizing that I'm talking and I'm yapping and I'm word vomiting and this video is running longer than I wanted it to, there's just so much. I can even set up a QuickCast. So like currently in Diablo 2 Remaster, I think this exists. You can actually like QuickCast your spells and turn on QuickCast and skill bars and buff timers where I don't have to swap to the hotkey and then right click to use my skills. I can actually just press my QuickCast button. So you can see I have Fanaticism on and I have Redemption Aura on, and I want to charge around. I can actually just press Q because Q is my charge, just like in Path of Exile, and I can just charge all around. And then when I stop, my auras will come back on. So I can like, I don't want to say cheat 2 auras on, but like I could cheat 2 auras on. Spoiler alert, in this mod, you can put auras on left click, which is like absolutely massive for a paladin, which is like insane, by the way. And I don't have to use left click as my attack seal. I can have an aura on left click and I can have an aura on right click. And then I can quick cast my tag and I can run all around and then my auras will go on. And then, ooh, a unique wall. Give me that. That's really cool. That's really cool. But yeah, you can see it's got a lot of really cool, awesome features. And this character is really fun to play. I'm having an absolute fantastic time. There's all kinds of other really interesting things, and I'm gonna, close out and let you guys know about a couple more interesting things. I know this video is running long, I'm sorry, but in terms of Diablo 2, a lot of you guys would probably say, hey man, what's the end game? What does end game look like? Do you just farm Mephisto? Do you just farm Baal? Do you farm bosses? Do you go to a secret world full of cows and just murder cows nonstop? What is the end game? How do I experience it? What do we do? Originally in Diablo 2 Remaster, the end game was comprised of a couple of things. There was bossing. You can go farm any of the bosses at the end of the acts. There was terror zones, which you can see right here. Terror zones in this change and rotate every 15 minutes. So you can either go to a high level zone and farm monsters from a high level zone. You can go to the end of each act and farm their boss repeatedly. You can go to the secret cow world and farm cows. Yes, there is a secret cow world. It does exist. They are cows standing up on 2 legs. And you can go farm cows, but exclusive to mods in Diablo, or exclusive to Project Diablo 2, or I don't know if it's exclusive is probably the wrong word, but Diablo 2 has maps, like Path of Exile maps. Like they have like abilities and density and experience and monsters, and I could just go open a map and go run a map, and maps take a little while because they are long, they are extensive, they are full of monsters, and they are designed to like keep you in a game without having to constantly remake a game and let you really go farm. You can actually even like edit and update and upgrade these maps and make them harder, and you can corrupt these maps for more modifiers. And there's maps added every season. There's all kinds of secret maps, and there's even crafting orbs to like craft your map. So you can just like, for Path of Exile players, like out can go all of your maps. You can outgo corrupt all of your maps. You can 8-mod all of your maps. You can 8-mod corrupt all of your maps, and all of those maps have really cool things. They have their own unique bosses, their own unique layouts. They all have their own unique immunities. So for me, for example, I do fizz damage. So if I were to look at this map, This map has, you know, I'm looking for, I think this is Fizz. I think this 110 is Fizz because of the coloring. This has Fizz immunity on it, but I wouldn't do this map because it's pain, right? I would do like this map because this is lightning and poison, or I would do like this map because it's fire and cold immunity. I wouldn't do this map because it's like, you know, Fizz immune. And depending on your character and your immunity, you can pick a set of maps to run that don't have immunities. There are 3 tiers of maps. Each tier of map has multiple maps that you can run. You can just pretty much do all that, or you can just farm bosses. There's like bajillion, I don't know if there's actually bajillions, but there's a ton of different bosses. You can farm keys to do Ubers. You can farm these sigils to do Uber Ancients. You can farm these new flesh things that add a new Uber boss. There's Uber Diablo, Diablo Clone, Rathma, key bosses, Tristram bosses. There's like, I haven't done all the bosses. There's all kinds of bosses in this game, and you can just go like do them all and farm all them and farm cool stuff. Now, if you farm all these items and you get all this stuff and you say to me, hey man, I got all this loot, what do I do? Now what? This is too much. This is confusing. Well, Project Diablo 2 offers you the ability to trade all of your items on their trade website. I can actually go to the exchange over here or create a post. I can go into my stash. I can look for an item that I want to list, like say the Superior Monarch. I can look for similar items that are available on trade. I can get a price for it. I can see what other people are selling it for. And then I can go over here. I can create a trade and I can just say, I don't know, I'm just going to list it for something insane. It doesn't even matter. I'll remove it later. And I can go through all of my loot and I could check out all of my loot. I can see what other people are listing all of their loot for, and I can edit and change all of my listings. So like now I see that I have this listed for that. I double check the pricing on it. I see it's worth less than what I have it for. I come in here, I update the trade offer, I submit it, and then all of my items are listed. I don't have to worry about them. I get a whisper in game. I can actually copy the in-game message. I can come into the game, I can right click and I can send a player a message. I can go to their game and trade right away. Trading is not actually terrible in this. It's actually pretty simple and pretty easy. I was really surprised. Though the trade website, a little confusing at first to get used to. You have to like come over here and say search for, you know, an armor, and then search for a base type, and then you can easily find things. Or for example, if you want a charm, you would come over here and search charm, and then a grand charm, and then this property up here has what you're looking for. So say I just wanted, I don't know, martial arts skills. I can search charm, grand charm, and then hit search and find, you know, what I'm looking for. But I'll include a link to this down below as well for you guys, and you'll be able to mess around with it at, you know, your own leisure. But there's so much to talk about with Project Diablo 2. The game is so extensive. It is insane amount of fun. It is just a really nice game to play. I play it a lot in my off time, and you know, there's just way too much to keep talking about because this video will go on for like another half an hour, and I would feel terrible to make that and you know, expect you guys to sit through an hour video. But if you have questions about Project Diablo 2, or you want to know more about the character or something very specific with farming, or you're newer to Project Diablo 2 and things are a little bit confusing and there's a topic you would like me to cover more in depth, let me know in the comment section down below. I love this game. This game is great. Diablo 2 is my childhood, and being able to play it with an updated mod and a community and get loot and farm for loot and do really cool things is nice. It's kind of awesome. So, you know, I've managed to learn a lot from my own community playing this game. I've managed to learn a lot from the Project Diablo 2 community, who has like seen me streaming it and has answered my questions. And, you know, if I can pay that information forward to you guys and help you out with something, whether it be the trade site or find information on a character or tell you about the character I'm playing or what to farm, where to farm, how to farm, you know, let me know in the comments down below. This way I have an idea of what you guys need, and I'll be more than happy to try to make some, you know, some kind of content around it and give you guys information that you need, or help find the research that you guys need to get the information that you want. But for now, friends, I'm gonna go farm some more cows. And if you haven't seen the cow level, I'll show it to you. But for now, friends, I'm gonna get this video out to you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Good day.